Game has kind of settled down, Steve. There's not too much excitement going on, no fan noise, and that's just fine with us. And all right.
You asked for it.
I asked for it, and all of a sudden, guess what? The sprinklers come on, and what can you ask? You want excitement? There it is.
And there's your sprinkle.
And I promise I'd had no foreknowledge of this.
It was all Don Venture's planning.
It's time for baseball, laughs, gaffes, and goofs. Hosted by Jay Johnstone, with special guest appearances by Tommy Lasorda, Bob Costas, Dallas Green, Larry Boa, Eric Gregg, and a host of baseball bloopers from every field of play. Did you ever just have one of those days?
I got you on my mind again today.
Oh boy.
You creep up on me like you're hunting prey. There must be more to this than meets the eye. I can't shake you off no matter how I try. I got a bad situation. It's gonna be a bad situation here, right here. Gonna have a rough ride this side of the ocean. Why won't you hear me say, Mayday, 3 miles out here. You got me guessing, feeling quite confused. Make me feel blessed and leave me feeling used. Well, I told myself time after time that loving you would totally be a crime. I got a bad situation. Oh, it's gonna be a bad situation here, right here. Gonna have a rough ride this side of the ocean. Why won't you hear me say, Mayday, 2 miles out here.
Let's go back in time to the forefathers of baseball. Here's sunny side up Lou Headstone, who redefined the strike zone with his unorthodox style. Lou's flexibility was a key to his success. Then there was the famed catcher Johnny I Catch Cannonballs with My Stomach Johnson. This guy became the prototype catcher because of his uncanny ability to block the plate. Nobody ever scored on Johnny Johnson. When you see the modern catcher block the plate with daring and tenacity, you know that Johnny Johnson had his impact. Neither he nor his progeny would let even a freight train pass them. Let's give credit where credit's due. The heroes of the past. Baseball's rich tradition is due in part to the many characters of the game, and with television watching their every move, they now come into our living rooms all the time. One of Major League Baseball's biggest flakes was our host, Jay Johnstone. He visited with two of the men who managed him.
Wherever I go, and I do an awful lot of speaking all over the United States. And one of the questions that is asked of me so many times, what is Jay Johnstone really like? And my answer is that there are a lot of people who are in the insane asylum who are saner than this man. And this guy is walking the streets of America scot-free. In spring training, I went to my room at night and had to make a lot of important phone calls. Every time I dialed, the operator couldn't hear me, but I could hear the operator. So I said, of all the phones in this Dodger town, mine has to be out of order.
That's a shame, right? Huh?
The next morning, I woke up and I tried to open the door to come out, and I couldn't open the door.
Really?
Yeah.
Kidding. Is it
Right.
stuck?
Now, I couldn't open it. Now I tried to call for help. The phone, the operator says, yes, Mr. Lasorda, what can I do for you? But she couldn't hear me tell her that I needed someone to come down and open the door. So for 3 hours, I couldn't get anybody out. Finally, I'm screaming, hollering, and I'm ready to throw a chair through the windows to open the door. And Ralph Avilar, our Latin American scout, heard me. He cut the rope. What you did is tie the rope around my doorknob, and that palm tree sitting in front of my door, you wrapped it around the palm tree. I couldn't get out, okay?
You've had more gimmicks than any baseball player I had.
Every clubhouse, don't you
Some
agree?
batting thing that didn't work for crying. We had to buy 10 of them just for you. We even built a whole room just so Jay Johnstone could prepare to pinch hit.
But it was
was-
working. I mean,
yeah, it worked.
every clubhouse needed a TV and a stereo,
Right,
and
sure.
an extra one for
Yeah,
the trainer so
right.
he could modulate in there, okay, right?
Modulate, that's a good word.
That's a big one. my new terminology.
Come a long way, baby.
Jay Johnstone, a man who never let a game get in the way of a good joke. Now this may look like a routine gaffer, probably a double, maybe a triple, but the center fielder will soon find out that our base runner slides into shortstop. Did you ever wonder what these guys are saying? This coach looks like a piano player. And the players, do they really understand this stuff? What? Pitch 'em high, then low, then high. Is anybody home? Talk to this guy, will ya? Got that? Now do it, capiche? What? This coach apparently has a need for a high dosage of bug spray, like Kevlar. Either that or a bath.
I don't get it. Fastball? No, slider. What?
Is this coach asking for suntan lotion or what? Here's a fellow who's a master at communication, and one who definitely admires himself. Okay, babe. Are we boring you? Try not to fall asleep on us. Okay, now let's see what all this confusion leads to. The signs have been given, understood, and assimilated. Now it's the pitcher's turn to produce. The art of sliding. Now that's something that anyone can learn. There's different methods. The pop-up slide. Some do it more gracefully than others. The pop-over slide. That one's worth another look. And then there's the head-first slide. Or maybe we should call it the head-first, smash-your-face in the dirt slide. Or better yet, maybe we should call it the use your chin as a break, rearrange your face slide. Whatever it is, it hurts. We feel like using some sound effects now.
Been playing a lot more lately with the resurgence of your power there, and they've been moving you around a little bit. I noticed you're playing right. Guess we'll do that question over.
3, 2, 1, action.
The Huntsville Stars home opener is April 16th. I can see in his eye. Keep that for the blooper one later.
My name's Reese Lambert. I'm a left-handed pitcher from Jet, Oklahoma. And I just kind of play for the Huntsville Stars. Oh, I forgot about that part. I knew I was supposed to say something else. We're going to be on TV bloopers, man. Right back after this delightful word from your TV station.
Here's someone who has a knack for getting on television. Morgana, the kissing bandit. Morgana began her career kissing Pete Rose and hasn't stopped since. The fans seem to enjoy her forays onto the field, and security personnel don't find her too tough to deal with. They just send her to jail where she spends a night or two, and then she's back in action. Not only do the fans seem to like her, but the players sometimes seem smitten with her as well. You know you made the big time when Morgana targets you. She's a celebrity now. Kids seek her autograph, she's got her own home video, and she's a sponsor for a peanut company. She's also part owner of a minor league team, the Utica Blue Sox. From all appearances, a pretty popular owner. Maybe Morgana is becoming mainstream. Several minor league clubs actually invite her to invade their ballparks. And for you trivia buffs, can you guess what league the Utica Blue Sox play in? The Double D League. Here's some action that grades an F in our estimation. It must have been the wind. The wind. That's the ticket. Watch this catcher's toss. Right in the head. That's worth another look. Whoa, nice mascot. Very attractive. Here's a play that can cause a manager to turn over in his grave. Kills you, doesn't it? And here's what happens when a fan isn't careful. What's a few broken ribs when you're chasing a baseball?
gonna stay fair, and that's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. That ball roll fair, foul, hit a rut in the grass, roll fair again. I've never seen another one-time thing.
It's time for another edition of the Characters of Baseball.
I played with some guys like Kurt Bleffrey, Billy Lowe, that was before your time probably. Jackie Brandt, another guy who was a little different. You know, I kind of wish that I'd have been a little more eccentric instead of playing it straight down the middle all the time.
You got any stories about Jackie Brandt?
Jackie Brandt, well, he did things like one night he wanted to go to Howard Johnson. What do they have, 31 flavors?
Right.
It was about 30 miles away. Well, he drove 30 miles and then he ordered vanilla. Things like that, you know, it doesn't make sense. But Billy Lowe lost a ground ball in the, it was during the day, you know, and they asked him, well, how'd you miss that ball? He said, well, the moon got in my eyes. Things like that, you know, so things like you would say.
I think of a manager like Earl Weaver, a legendary manager, but you know how he could rant and rave on the bench.
Tremendously.
And he was throwing a tirade one day. It's one of my favorite stories. And Pat Kelly, who was a reserve outfielder, was a very religious man, born-again Christian. And you know how profane Earl could be. I mean, every other word was you fill in the blank. And the Orioles are in a slump, and they're losing in the late innings. And he's walking up and down the bench, cursing everybody and everything. And he picks up a bat, and he runs it along the top of the bench and scatters all the batting helmets that are lined up there. And players are all diving for cover, and they're all looking at the dirt. They don't want to make eye contact with Weaver. And suddenly, Kelly has a burst of courage. And Pat Kelly stands up and he says, Earl, I'd like to see you walk with the Lord. And the entire bench falls silent. And Weaver looks at him and says, Pat, I'd rather see you walk with the bases loaded.
It's a red race of sun when we all disagree. Because the music we make, you know it's gonna set you free. You know let's break up this party and get yourself on the floor. Tonight is made for jamming and slamming. That's a beat ready for more.
Here's a player who really knows how to do the two-step. Our baseball impression of the decade goes to this guy. First, Babe Ruth. Next, Reggie Jackson. More baseball bloopers on tap. You've heard of the fog ball. Well, here's the baseball equivalent. It's sure hard to make the plays when you can't see the ball. Still got the force out at second, though. The Three Stooges are alive and well. And here they are again. Slow pitch softball has its unusual happenings. What a catch! This is called a distraction pitch. Really distracted him, didn't it? And for the lovers of the bizarre, here are some guys who love to dress up like girls and play ball. Kinda kinky, but to each his or her own. Umpires are taught to be decisive, but we found a guy who learned his trade a bit differently. You're out. Safe. No, you're out. No, you're safe. Who cares? Poor umpires, they take a lot of abuse.
Hey, what's going on? What's the matter? He didn't call you that. Hey, he was kicking off the mound. He did not call you. He said it talking to the ground. It's on report for him. I didn't think he called you. I said, I heard him say. He did not say here. Not hear him say. I did not hear him say that. All right, what's up? Look, he already ran me. What do you want? Well, you ain't gonna get nothing. He already ran my. I know. What are you gonna do? All right, no, go ahead. You didn't call him. What? You didn't call him. What? You didn't call him. Right. Okay, I know that. I know you didn't call him a. He called you. Right. He did not call you. No, he didn't. I'm standing right alongside him. If he said it, hey, I heard him say he called you. Okay, but don't say he didn't say that. He did not say that. Fine. He called you. I agree with you, but he did not say you.
When you come on the field as an umpire, they think you're blind anyway. They say, "Where's your shepherd?" And the famous, they always say, your mother have any kids that lived? I mean, it's really shake your head, your eyes are stuck. I mean, you know, they get all the time. They call me all kinds of names. They call me Rerun, Tons of Fun. And what killed me is when Dallas Green yelled at me one day. He said, "Eric, come on, you're a better umpire than that." He called me Fat Albert. I said, "Don't you ever call me Fat Albert again or you're gone." So now we got a bang play at second base, and I call one of his players out, and I'm waiting for him to yell at me. I turn around, walk to the outfield, and he yells, "Hey, hey, hey!"
Eric, he's a carefree sort of guy and loves to eat in between innings, whether it be sunflower seeds or peanuts. And there was a play once at Wrigley Field. I was playing for the Cubs, and it was about the 16th inning. We were playing against the Dodgers. There was a fly ball to right. I was on third. I tagged up, and there's no doubt in my mind, Jay, I was safe. There's no doubt in my mind, everybody at Wrigley Field. And I'm sitting there waiting for the call, and Eric just goes, "Bam, you're out." You know, so that means it's extra innings, and I'm sitting there, and I say, "Eric, you got to be kidding me." He says, "I was right on top of that play, Larry." I said, "I tell you what, Eric, if there was a hamburger or a piece of roast beef down there, you wouldn't have missed that call because you'd have been right down in there." And ever since then, Eric and I have been sort of enemies.
I'm working first base. He hits a high chopper on the first base line. Now, you know, sometimes in a play like that, the pitcher's going to try to field the ball. The first baseman's going to try to cover the play. And all of a sudden, now they got confused, and they knocked me over. Now I'm laying on the field, and I'm a little unconscious at Wrigley Field. They're yelling. Next thing I know, I hear one of the players yell. I'm starting to come to, and the guy says, "Am I out or am I safe?" And I'm coming to now, and he says, "Am I out or am I safe?" And I says, "Who's yelling?" And he says, "Boa." I said, "You're out."
What's your retort? What do you got to say about Eric Gregg?
Well, the only thing I have to say about Eric Gregg is he was umpiring for food instead of money. He'd be the greatest umpire in the National League.
You walk that guy that couldn't hit his way out of a paper bag. So, there's your left-hander.
And if getting verbally assaulted isn't enough, how about physical abuse?
In right field, rounding second on his way to third, Dave Clemens. He's going to make it as the throw is cut off by Ricciardi. No, it's not cut off by the umpire. Oh, is it? Well, I guess that's one way to get it cut off. You want to get your leg cut off.
Swing and a miss. Hey, don't fence me in. Watch the batter's backswing here. Ouch! That came from John Raines of Adrian, Michigan. And it's an appropriate way to end our video. So long, everybody.
There's 50,000 people in Dodger Stadium. And 3 guys are in coveralls dragging the infield. It's you, Jerry Royce, and Cameron Brett. 50,000 people get up and give you a standing ovation.
I did a good job.
Now, all 3 of you come in the dugout. I find each of you $250. I told you to get a bat and pinch hit for the pitcher. The first pitch you hit over the right field fence for a home run. You may be the only guy in the history of the major leagues who in the 6th inning, the top of the 6th inning, dragged the infield. At the bottom of the 6th inning, hit a home run.
We won the game, too.
Won the game. Now, after I find you, you fellas told Bud Farilla what I had done. Bud Farilla had a talk show in Los Angeles. So he tells the fans, how could Tommy Lasorda fine these 3 guys for what they did? The fans are up in arms. The fans are sending in money to help you guys pay the fine. You each receive $750. You give me $250. You guys clear $500. I'm the culprit, and you 3 guys are the heroes. Now you tell me this guy is sane?